Hello, I am your host, Ronin Yeti, and welcome to the very first episode of Conveying the Obvious. Now, I'm going to go ahead and admit it, but this was not the first topic I wanted to extrapolate and convey. However, if the last few months have taught us anything, it's that change can sometimes come on swift and sudden. This episode will also be a little shorter than the ones to follow, a little rough and rusty around the edges as well, leaving out most of the logical assessments and objective theorizing I would like to utilize in the future. However, what I am about to reveal doesn't require too much hypothesizing, because the correlating evidence I have uncovered speaks loud and clear, making the possible truth so painfully evident, and dare I say, obvious? Well, enough with the pleasantries. Let's run the intro and start the show. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, if Oswald was behind him for the fatal shot, then why did the president's head go backwards? Why did his head go back as if he'd been shot from the front and his head slumped forward? It's fairly certain if you shoot someone from the back, their head's not going to fly backwards. I mean, right? Oh. Well, hello. Welcome, everyone. I am Christopher Royce, and you are watching the first episode of Conveying the Obvious. Conveying the Obvious was an idea I made up about 11, 12 years ago when YouTube was still an infant, without all the mainstream censorship and all that is rampant in the past 2 years, but that's a whole other subject, whole other episode. I did a little series, 3 videos of talking like I am here, except without this amazingly modest set. It's pretty good, I think. Put it all together with my bare hands. If you build it, they will come, right? So I built it. So I made 3 videos. The first one, which is still on my YouTube channel, it was like 35 seconds of just me being very stoic and asking the audience a question, an existential question of what we should do next now that we were woke. See, some of us were woke 12 years ago. Some of us were woke 25 years ago. Woke ain't a new thing. Okay? Made a second episode. I want to say it was about either 9/11 or Bush going to war for false reasons, which, come to find out later on, there were no weapons of mass destruction in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we were fooled. But hey, once I posted my second video, they censored the audio. And back then, YouTube censoring you for just about anything other than, full out plagiarism was very odd, very rare. And then the third video, again, whatever it was about 9/11 truths or Bush truths, they didn't just censor the audio, they banned the video outright. That was just a quick synopsis of my history of CtO. But let's get to the present. Let's get to why we're here, the very first episode. As our esteemed host Ronin Yeti said at the beginning of this video, is that this episode wasn't going to be perfect. It was going to be a little rough. I'm not going to be able to convey my vision for this show outright. I tried to do the set. I'll try to do the segues, the montages, the visual effects and stuff, and show you all a vision of what I really want to do. And so we'll be upgrading as we go along, and that's where the Patreon comes in. For those that have seen the Patreon, I'm just trying on Patreon. Patreon's actually banned a lot of people that I like from their platform. The very first episode I wanted to do was about understanding what the words N-word conspiracy theory means, or conspiracy theories. Because, not to give too much away, but in the 60s, that's when the term was coined. I want to say in the 60s, mid-60s. Supposedly the CIA, using the media at that time too, they demonized the term to go against people of critical thought, or just those that maybe wanted to question what the media was saying. So I really wanted the very first episode to be about what conspiracy theory really means, where it's originated from, what's the difference between conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact. I thought it'd be a really good episode to hit the ground running with. So every other episode, subsequently would make more sense. You wouldn't just be like, oh, that guy's a fucking idiot. After many years, after over 15, going on 20 years of looking into subjects like this, specifically elites in Hollywood that commit crimes without, and most of these people go without being punished, and if they do, they're very lenient sentences. I've been amassing videos and information and documents and testimonies and all this. I hope this evidence will maybe not convince you to believe in the theories we're going to come up with in the later episodes of the series, which is one of the big parts of this whole show, is legitimately theorizing and postulating logically and reasonably, or maybe even unreasonably, because everything's unreasonable till it's not. So everything's impossible till it's not, as they say. So it's healthy and good to hypothesize, to theorize, and to question what you've been told and what you are being told. I always am under the impression I should always try to be right before I have an opinion. That makes sense. Most people usually have an opinion until they're right. I like to wait to have a personal opinion until I know about something infallibly, or at least enough to have an opinion about it. So again, that's what this show's all about too. Trying to keep an open mind, not being gullible per se, but being reasonably open-minded about certain things, because there's a lot of shit out there other than Facebook and going to the mall and paying the bills. I want to thank everyone here for coming to this episode. This show means a lot to me. As I said in the history, I had this vision 12 years ago. I have not had the skills and motivation and the gear to revamp this show until now. With that being said, we're going to play. I'm going to play for you all 3 different mini montage videos. And they're all going to be about different things, but all these videos are going to be within a certain type of logic or a certain type of thinking. But that's what it's about, folks, connecting the dots. But first you gotta make the dots, so it's like you go poof, and the dots of thoughts come out. But you gotta make those dots, and then once you have them, you want to make constellations. It makes sense. All right, but enough about that. As you notice, I've been sprinkling our discussion here a little bit with the words elite and celebrities and maybe bad guys. So that's basically what this first video montage is going to be about. We're going to segue ourselves into when Ricky Gervais blatantly and obviously pwned the celebrities in the same building as him during the 2020 Awards. Most people just thought he was probably being hard, being funny, because he'd been on the show a few times prior to this event. 2020. The other times he had hosted, he had made jokes against the celebrities, but they were more on a very pop level, on a very pop surface level. But this time, these pop references seemed a bit more personal, not just funny, haha, you fucked up, you beat your wife, ha ha ha, which is apparently funny. Look, I'm laughing. I guess it is funny. The jokes are very personal, and they're personal attacks about a subject that's very hot. It's a very hot button subject, and it always has been. That'll be later on in this video. But this first montage, I want to let Ricky Gervais take over for me because I'm just ranting and mumbling, and you can hear the words for himself. And then, guys, I will be back after this small montage. Talk about it. Segue into the second one. Stick around, please. Don't go anywhere. I'm excited about this. And please, comment as much as you want. Anyway, Ricky Gervais, please take it away.
Hello and welcome to the 77th Annual Golden Globe Awards, live from the Beverly Hilton Hotel here in Los Angeles. I'm Ricky Gervais, thank you. Lots of big celebrities here tonight, I mean legends, icons. But tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world, people from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronin Farrow.
He's the reporter who helped bring to light some of the charges of sexual harassment and abuse we seem to be hearing about in ever-increasing numbers.
His name is Ronin Farrow. He had obtained an incriminating police recording of Harvey Weinstein with actress Umbra Gutierrez.
Why yesterday you touched my breast?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on, I'm used to that.
There wasn't a thought like, I should just give up on this.
in terms of the gravity of the evidence, it would have been impossible for me to live with myself.
He's coming for you.
Farrow's follow-up report was equally explosive, revealing the lengths that Weinstein would allegedly go to quash negative stories, including using private investigators and former Israeli spies.
I don't think most people are aware of the exotic and extreme tools at the disposal of the most powerful and wealthy men in America when they are bent at silencing accusations against them.
Weinstein, who denies all claims of non-consensual sex, had been paying for their silence, as much as $1 million in the case of Ombra Gutierrez. But the days of silencing victims may be over. Harvey Weinstein, not long ago among the most powerful men in Hollywood, has lost his job, and so have more than 24 other men.
Convicted rapist and now certified sex offender Harvey Weinstein learned his fate today. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison in his conviction on rape and criminal sexual act.
You hear that? That's the victory music, my friends. When the first big Hollywood execs down in the hole, 23 years, lenient in my eyes because he apparently assaulted sexually most of them, over 80 women. If you or I did that, we would be stoned in the streets. But yeah, that was Harvey Weinstein's golden moment in his golden years. As if you look at him in newspapers and everything else, he's rocking a rocker, folks. He's looking bad. He ain't getting that adrenochrome. Another episode. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, a little montage. Again, it wasn't as much as a montage as just a kind of a stream of information, but the connections, folks. That's why I made them in red. Those I think are the most important. Again, Ricky Gervais, British actor, yes, but he does know Hollywood. He's been involved in plenty of Hollywood movies. He would know these people, but he's alluding to a lot, and you could speculate on a lot of. If depending on your perspective, you could speculate on what he's saying. Obviously, you could say he's just making a joke, that if one of them does it, maybe the others do. But as you notice, I kind of included that little clip of him reiterating himself, saying, he's coming for you. He's shaking his head. I mean, I don't know. Think what you want. That's what this whole show's about. Leave me in the comments what you think. What can I say? I really didn't expect him to say any of that. Especially about the Ronin Farrow. And again, I wanted to include Ronin Farrow because some people don't know who he is or didn't know. So kudos to you, Ronin. Ronin. Can you fucking believe my man, Ronin? Just like my host, Ronin Yeti. Thank you. The connections of Ronin Farrow. Why they would all be terrified of Ronin Farrow. That Ronin Farrow is coming for all of them. Now, obviously, that's a hyperbole or generalization. But he is alluding to much. He's alluding to, obviously, some people there. Connection, one thing in common, you might have seen a couple of times in there, talking about how there's been many different arrests and accusations against Hollywood elites for the exact same crime of Weinstein, whatever you want to say, Weinstein. They, as Ronin said, they all use the same method of bribery and blackmail. In this case, bribing women up to $1 million for their silence. That's a lot of money. And the other connections, like big celebrities and film and TV executives. And that all tied in with who was to blame. So you got the who, you got the what they have in common, you got the who would terrify them. They're one thing they have in common, or possibly multiple things. But it's one overarching thing that they all seem to utilize. It's a way of living for these people. I'm not going to try to generalize here, but there has been evidence in the past. There is evidence going on now. Obviously, as you saw in that clip of Weinstein, that just happened less than 2 months ago, and there will be more evidence to come, I assure you. But we're going to quickly move on to the second video montage. Again, small, exact same length as the first. We're going to open back up with our boy, Ricky Gervais again. He's got more to say. I cut out a lot of what he said, so if you ever want to go see it, look it up.
2020
Golden Globe Awards. But I try to use the most important parts that could help with the connections of what this whole series is about. Again, we want correlatory evidence and causal evidence. We want both. If we can only find correlatory, it's not as strong as finding like motive and pictures and videos, which we know is out there. They've been out there before. They get scrubbed off the internet. Scrub means taken off quite quickly. Hope you all enjoy the next video montage, and I'll be on the other side waiting for you and talk a little more if you don't mind. See you there.
Talking of all you perverts, it was a big year. It was a big year for paedophile movies. Surviving R. Kelly, Leaving Neverland, Two Popes. Shut up. So in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. I know he's your friend, but I don't care. You had to make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Right.
Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire New York businessman whose vast wealth brought an arrogance that knew no limits. Damn the consequences, he acted as if he could have anything he craved. But what he desired most was sex with young women and girls. For years, he abused them at will. And such were the numbers of victims Epstein exploited, he started trading them around the world. He masterminded a sex trafficking ring which enabled his rich and influential friends and associates to share in his perversion.
We were able to amass a whole wealth of evidence. We knew it all.
Amongst them were damning message pads, clearly showing a trade in young girls, scheduling them for massage appointments. As well, flight logs showing girls being transported aboard Jeffrey's private plane, dubbed the Lolita Express. An obsession he shared with like-minded wealthy and powerful friends.
The people that were involved with Jeffrey Epstein included some of the richest and most politically powerful people in the world.
Do you have any idea of how many victims are out there?
I would say it's in the thousands. I mean, he was literally doing this for over 20 years.
Jeffrey Epstein has been discovered dead in jail. This is according to news.com.au, where he had been held pending trial on federal sex trafficking charges. This news just coming through to us.
Kids, have you heard the latest meme? Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Hashtag that. Seriously, go hashtag it. Go look it up. Intriguing connections between what Ricky says to all these people that he's technically disparaging. But does he have the evidence to back it up? That these people sitting in the room with him are just like Weinstein and Epstein. The connections there, the friend, for Epstein had many friends. There is evidence out there that Epstein had a few friends in very high places, and of course, as a multi-millionaire, he had some pretty tight connections. Trump is always mentioned, of course. There's videos and pictures. There's no doubt about that. Other people like Weinstein as well. Prince Andrew, the connection of the plane. It was only mentioned briefly in this montage, but we'll get into it much later. There is evidence of people in high places like Bill Clinton and I want to say Bill Gates as well. There's a plane that people apparently took to Jeffrey Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands. Some people call it Orgy Island, and some people call the plane the Lolita Express. There's speculation out there that the press coined that term, the Lolita Express, but I've heard from other sources that may seem more reasonable are native people that live in that area, that live around there, that some have money, some don't. And apparently they have seen underage girls coming out of the plane on occasion, or had, not anymore. Jeffrey Epstein being the main connection, the center of the web of this particular conspiracy. He may not be the mastermind of this, but he's certainly involved. He was a big player involved. Was, operative word. Dead, probably. Maybe not dead. those are things we can speculate in this series, certainly, since he will be a hot topic. He'll help us tie certain strings of the web together. The next connection is pedophiles. Strong word to say, strong word to hear. Not only did he mention some cases or people or movies, as you saw, so did the detective they had found underage girls had been not only touching on Epstein and being used by him, but also being traded and exported to other people. Again, I don't think I've ever heard them use the word pedophile in the Golden Globe Awards. Not mentioned. So, not a common topic. Alright, you all. We're almost done with this video. If you're still watching, thank you so much for going through my ramblings and craziness and oddness and quirkiness. Can I be normal? Let's see if we can finish this little segue out with me being normal. And now, we're going into the third and final video montage for this first episode of Conveying the Obvious. But now we're going to move on to another actor, or should I say other actors who are in the business. Some of these people have been speaking out against Hollywood for quite a while. Others, they didn't have a long time to speak out until they were Jeffrey Epstein. That's a good one. I guess I'm not normal anymore. God, I came out again, didn't I? But please enjoy the next and last video montage of this episode, where we'll hear from other celebrities and actors in the business that have something along the lines of what Ricky's been saying, but a little bit more serious about it. Please enjoy the last video, and I'll be back to get us out of here. I appreciate your all's patience and time. Thank you so much. And again, don't forget to comment about any of these subjects, or about none of the subjects, whatever.
When you're talking about like really elite levels, the name of the game is blackmail. They want something on you that they can hold over your head when they film it. And then they own you. That's what runs the whole system, basically. They want compromised people because they're easy to control. Not everyone in Hollywood is bad, all right? There are a lot of decent people. A lot of people don't even realize what's actually going on. They've been suppressing this information. They don't want you, the people worldwide. They don't want you to know what is up. You had no idea because, you know, we're around the media. You're told who to trust, who to like. All of this stuff is interconnected. If you want to get into the club, if you want to make the money, if you want the fame, you basically have to sell your soul. They can try to kill me. You know, good luck with that.
Right, that was some pretty compelling eyewitness testimonies, eyewitness accounts, personal quotes of people that are known through different generations, Generation X, Y, and Z. And it goes farther back than that. There's a history of allegations and arrests for Hollywood moguls, elites, actors, actresses, whoever in Hollywood, being arrested for very similar charges, if not worse. I hope you would consider to have an open mind about this stuff. I know these people are people we've grown up with our whole life. That's kind of indoctrination speak. We can get into that elsewhere. As much as our entertainment is a part of our culture, and it is, it really is, it's the circuses of our generation. In my opinion, they shouldn't sway us as much as they might. That these people's, not only their movies, and yeah, movies can be inspiring, trust me, I've been inspired by plenty. Most of my works have been inspired by other works. And that seems to be how it works. Normal people just follow these celebrities on social media, these supposed friends that everyone can just comment on and like their stuff, and their friends. They really take a lot of what they say to heart. You know, if you feel like they are your friends, truly, then approach them as you would a friend. Be disgusted or be worried or, you know, whatever, but don't just let it slide. It's been let sliding down a mountain far too long. Very tall mountain. But just keep an open mind. Again, I know this is about people we are supposed to socially respect, but people make mistakes, and sometimes you need to pay for your mistakes to learn. So maybe it's time they learn that they can't get away with the shit they keep getting away with, apparently. So I'm not. Like I said, I've been very surprised the past few years, especially the past 2 years. Funny enough, Cappy, just a year ago, killed himself, and he made that video 2 years ago. Interesting. I do believe in conspiracy theories, but I also believe in conspiracy facts, but in a healthy manner. Conspiracies are all around us. They always have been. That's how some people get over on others, and that's why laws are created. So many laws wouldn't have been created, especially with copyright infringement and plagiarism and all that, if people weren't trying to take advantage of other people. And if you have, it's what a conspiracy is. I'll just give you a little clue, since I can't do this for my first episode, but conspiracy means when 2 or more people conspire to do an illegal act in the present or future. So if you go out with a buddy to buy some pot in a state where it's illegal, that's a conspiracy. See? And a theory is a healthy thing to deduce and critically extrapolate an answer for a question or a problem, or possible problem. See, and it helps to even find if a problem is a problem or not. For now, we're going to end this episode. Let me just briefly go over what next episode will entail of this series. We are going to do more speculating. We're going to look more hard into evidence, go word for word. We're going to go into documents. We're going to look at more eyewitness testimonies. We're going to just look at things from all different sides too. And most of what I've presented tonight, I've tried not to give my opinion too much, but I've just tried to present what other people have said in the mainstream narrative, also with graphics of different documents that are official. So it's good to have a worldwide perspective on a similar problem, or possible problem. We'll see. But that's what next episode's for. It's going to be a little bit more serious. I wanted to kind of have fun with this episode. The dancing, the acting silly. Like I said, this is basically how I act anyway. But next episode, I'd really like to possibly use the comments from this video, answer some of them, or at least talk about something. I don't proclaim to have all the answers. No. As they say, the more you know, you realize you don't know anything. Or at least not as much as you thought. It's just too much to fucking know. That's why I'm here, Christopher Royce and Ronin Yeti, to convey the obvious to you wonderful people out there. Thank you so much for your time and patience with me. If you think I'm cuckoo and nuts, let me know. If you think I bring up some good points, let me know. Again, thank you so much everyone for coming in and coming into my wonderful studio I built just for you all to witness what will be known as the quickest banned video on YouTube, BitChute, or BitTube, or anywhere. Maybe. We'll see if I can break my prior record, because that, back 12 years ago, because that third video game ban, that was fast. Again, 12 years ago. I promise the next video will be out as soon as possible. Not quickly, because these take time to make. But again, thank you for your patience for waiting this long to even watch this. I hope I didn't disappoint you. I hope to refine every episode more and more with my graphics, the way I talk, all of that. Ronin Yeti, take us out. And everyone out there, thank you again for coming in. And I'll see you next time. Later.
Shit.